So this morning I watched Welcome to Plathville season 8. So last season, Lydia got married to Zach. The whole thing with her family was like, they thought that she was moving too fast. They thought that he was controlling. We don't know him, we don't trust him. But instead of getting to know Zach, they decided to basically haze him and harass them, just make their lives hell right before their wedding. So season 8 opens and Lydia, she seems so different. Lydia was always not that sure of herself. She was quiet. She was clearly the backbone of the family, but she didn't really have much of a voice. Now she's so mature. She seems so self-assured. Her voice is different. The way she holds herself and carries herself is different. She seems just way more grounded in who she is as a person. She wants to have a conversation with her family and basically explain why everything they did up until her wedding was so hurtful to her. On the other hand, we hear from the other part of the family, the brothers, Mariah, her mother and her father, and like everybody's perspective on the situation. Barry was very validating the whole time for Lydia, while Kim kind of like tag teamed with Isaac and Ethan, spreading all of this mistrust. It was interesting to see this conversation for a few reasons. I feel like watching it gave me this epiphany that kind of helped me process some feelings I have about my own family. When a child gets into a relationship, a serious relationship for the first time, it's a huge deal. Like, it actually does change your family relationship, especially for parents. And I understand that for parents, that can be really scary. Like, someone other than you has strong influence over your child. There's some things that a partner can do, a romantic partner can do, that a parent can't do for a person. You know, there's just a level to that relationship that is different than what a family can offer you. And there's the potential that this child could leave the family or start a new family with this person. And now they're more independent from you. Now they may not be seeking you out for your opinion as much. They may discover that they have different values than you have as a parent. And so I understand from a parent's perspective why child getting into a relationship can be threatening. But at the same time, like, I think some parents can react in ways that can be very hurtful. And I think that's what happened with Lydia. When parents show so much disapproval, it can hurt because it's not even really about the other person. It's not about the partner. On one hand, it hurts because this is the person you love and you want your family to accept them and love them the way that they accept and love you. Or maybe you've never felt accepted and loved. Maybe you've always felt criticized. And so this criticism can feel like a rejection of you as a person. It feels like your parent or your family doesn't trust your judgment. It's like they don't trust your intelligence. If like you find a partner that shares your values and your family is criticizing your partner for judgments of what they think their values are, that can feel like you're rejecting my values and me as a person. I found myself really relating to Lydia in the situation because I'm a triplet, but I'm the oldest of us. I was born 1 minute before my sisters. Even though we're all the same age, I feel like I am the older sister. And like, there's some things I've done first. Like, I was the first to get into a serious relationship. I was the first to move in with a partner. I was the first to move across the country with a partner. I was the first and probably the only one to come out as queer and the first to have a same-sex partner. So with me and my family, there were a lot of firsts with us, with me in particular. At the time, me being like young and idealistic and in love, or, you know, thinking I'm in love, because, you know, as I get older, my definitions of love have changed. But I do think that being a teenager and being in your first relationship is really love. My family went through a lot of firsts with me, and because of that, there was no other child for them to practice with. There were things that, you know, maybe they weren't ready to face. I do think your child picking their first partner can be scary for parents because it's like a test. The values you've instilled in them, did I expose them to enough or too little? The person that they pick is a reflection of like how they feel about themselves, how they were raised, right? Or at least that's how parents may be seeing it. And I think this is what's happening with the Plaths and with Lydia. In Plathville, like they know they shelter those kids like crazy. They told her to stay away from boys. She got in trouble for texting a boy once. They basically made her feel like sex before marriage is wrong and instilled these really conservative values in her. So now, like when she's picking a partner, maybe they're thinking, is she too naive? Like she hasn't seen any of the world. I mean, whose fault is that, you know? So maybe there is a lack of trust there in what they instilled in her. And I guess it shows that maybe they weren't that confident in the decision to shelter their kids from the world as they tried to make it seem in the beginning. So Lydia choosing a partner was terrifying because they're like, she's the one who followed their teaching the most. So it's like, who is she gonna pick? But it's just like, it shows it was more about them than her, you know? At the same time, Lydia's probably feeling like, I did everything that you told me to. I didn't have sex before marriage. We're not kissing before marriage. I saved myself for marriage. You taught me that the man is the head of the household. So how can you say that a man who takes charge is controlling? But yeah, it does hurt. It does hurt to not be trusted or to feel like your family doesn't know you. I think that's another thing that's going on there is like because they grew up in such a restrictive way where like individual expression, like makeup and clothes and who you hang out with and what you listen to for fun. So if you learn that like the only way to be a good child or to be a good person is to stick with these very strict rules and you can't really waver from that, how would your family know you? How would anybody know who you really are when you can't express what that is? So there's that. It's like feeling like maybe none of them know who you are because you've been performing this role for so long. But yeah, it's like, I love reality TV for this reason. Despite these crazy scenarios that we're finding these people in, like marrying someone from another country, or being a super conservative Christian, or being a family in Beverly Hills like the Kardashians, and living amongst celebrities. At the end of the day, like the human core is always there. You can cry in a mansion and you can cry in a shack. It just shows how human people are and how much we really have in common. Like even though we're not all super like rich businesswomen like the Kardashians, I mean, how many of us have sibling drama and issues with our parents? How many of us have had relationship issues or wondered if the person we're with really loves us for who we are versus what we can give them, dealt with family, disapproval. Like at the end of the day, like that human side is always there. And so I felt that really strongly today watching Welcome to Plathville and really relating to Lydia's story. And we couldn't be like more different as people. Like Lydia she's a conservative Christian, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl married at 21, saved herself for marriage, never lived with a boyfriend, saved her first kiss for marriage. While I am not religious but spiritual, I'm gay, I'm black, I'm 28, not married, in a same-sex relationship. At the same time, despite the fact that we're so different, I could relate so heavily. TV and storytelling can really show you that you're really not that different from people who are just complete opposites from you. I think that's why it's so important for all of us to like show up online, you know? Show up. Like you can't let the most extreme people of the world have the final say on what any kind of consensus is. It's important for people of all backgrounds and experiences to make their voices heard. And it doesn't have to be political. It's just like share your experience, share who you are. Because like more people see and understand and feel you than you think. And if not, you can change somebody's mind.